Good afternoon, everybody. Can you guys hear me okay? I think you can. I think I can hear myself okay. All right, well, it's so good to be with all of you today. I really do feel back at home at UCSB. Thank you, Dana, Leslie, all the wonderful facilitators. You guys have done an incredible job putting this together. It was very seamless and smooth. So that's just the gaucho way, right? Just to be seamless and smooth. I want to thank everybody who's attended, whether you're volunteering today or you're a current student at UCSB. Way to go. Way to be here and put yourself out there. Please spread the word. We need more of you learning from those of us that are out there and having gone through quite a bit already. I want to thank my Sigmas in the room. Hello, Sigma Alpha Zeta. I am so proud. I hope to make you very proud today. And I'm just honored to be on the stage and give you an example of what's to come for all of you and everybody else. So thank you for your love. Okay, so again, as Dana said, Irene Quevedo, I run an organization called Operation Jumpstart, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about Operation Jumpstart in just a bit. I also run an amazing organization, Level Up Latina, which is all about professional coaching and success. And so I say that because today, I'm going to talk a little bit about leadership and success, and I'm really talking to the students in the room, but I know there's a lot of nuggets for those of us who are alumni, no matter when you graduated. For me, that was in 2003. I started way back in 1999. I can't believe it. We partied like it was 1999. We hear that all the time about UCSB. We also got a very good quality education while we partied. I loved it. It was one of the best years of my life, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I cannot believe it that I'm home and with all of you. So welcome home. I just love that marketing. So thank you to everybody. Again, as I said, it is an honor to be here and to kick off this event with all of you. These nuggets today are for everyone, and they're not because I know it all or because I've got it all figured out. And instead, it's because I made a lot of mistakes along the way, a lot. And I went through a lot. And so I'm now here to talk about that in front of my beautiful children and my husband, which I think is really good for these guys right here. So thank you for being here, guys. They just think I'm a mom, right? That's all I am. I know where the socks are. I'm just a mom. Today they get to see me in another light, and that means a lot to me. So thank you for that opportunity. UCSB, thank you for giving me that. So let's get started. Welcome home, as I said. It's good to be home. Those of you that this is your home, lucky you. What a beautiful campus, what a beautiful life. We're so blessed. I really hope that you've all set your intentions for the day. What do you hope to get out of today? What are you wanting to experience? What do you want to feel by the end of it? Did somebody drag you here? That's okay too. Are you trying to land your next date? That's okay too. Hopefully not. Hopefully something a little more serious. Thank you for being here. Please set your intention for the day. Take a deep breath, because I'm going to be really vulnerable. Is that okay? Can I just give it to you guys? All right. I'm going to be really vulnerable about my journey, and I think that being vulnerable about your journey is what helps you make meaningful connections that count. That was part of what we saw advertised for this event. Make connections that count. So we have to go deeper than the surface to make connections that count. Would you agree? And for current students, that's a scary time. I didn't know that as a current student. You know, it's figuring it all out. But when you get out into the real world, there's a lot, the real world. We're always into the real world. We're always growing up, by the way. You never quite grow up. But when you're out there, there's something to be said for making true connections, being vulnerable, and owning your journey, where you come from, where you've been, what makes you you. So that's my intention today, to be vulnerable and share a bit about my journey and my trajectory to becoming a CEO and how I found success and fulfillment in my career and in my home life and just as an individual. And hopefully, you guys again have thought about what you want out of today. And it's hopefully something that you're going to give as well as receive, being in a place of yes, as well as being sort of the person that's here to learn, as well as the person that's here to teach. Even if you're a first-year student, there's something for you to offer, so please offer it up to us and take up that space. Deal? All right, let's get right into it. So I'm going to tell you guys about my journey to UCSB. You guys can think about your journey to UCSB, whether you're a current student or an alumni. My journey starts with my mom. My mom was born in Mexico, in Michoacan. If there's anybody from Michoacan, that's where my mama was from. She was born into an immense amount of poverty, and She was sort of the middle of 8, figuring it out, didn't get to go to school, couldn't afford shoes, you couldn't go to school, her family couldn't afford shoes for all 8, so I think the oldest and the youngest made it to school, something like that. That's kind of how they figured it out. Well, she had a lot of downtime on this ranch, and once she saw a guy riding a bike, and it like blew her mind. Imagine that. She's in this ranch, there's a guy riding a bike, and it was like, wow, if one day I could learn to ride a bike, that would be so cool. And that's all she kind of thought would be cool. There was no other vision. There was no other experiences. There wasn't much to her world. It was what it was. My mom, flash forward, had 3 children, married my dad. I wasn't yet born. And she realized as she got older that life was about much more than just riding a bike. And she really wanted to be successful. There was really no way for her to do that in her home country, so she came to this country almost 50 years ago, had 3 more children, and instead of learning to ride a bike, she taught herself English, she learned how to drive a car, she became self-employed, she bought a home, she did all these things that I just think about her 1 year of schooling because she didn't have shoes. What's our excuse, right? When things are tough. I think about my mom and I think that she's the reason I'm at UCSB just by really birth order. I was the youngest of 6. When I was growing up, born in this country and going through the American educational system, I didn't have my dad in the picture anymore. He was not a good husband to my mom. A hardworking man, which I say he will have left that as our legacy for my 6 siblings and I. But just by birth order, a lot of luck, and a little bit of mentors, college was possible for me. But my 4 older brothers, they all dropped out of high school. They all had to work hard. That's the example they saw, that's what they knew, and that's okay. That's kind of the story of a lot of immigrants. If you're first generation, your parents don't know about college. My older sister barely made it out of high school. So all of them, if you trickle that all down, thought, well, I guess you'll go to college, right? I guess you'll do this thing that none of us have done and people here do, and you'll go to college. So how lucky was I? That's just luck. What if I would have been the kid in the middle? The kid born not in this country. I was so lucky to be the last and to have at least had a standard and an elevation and a different vision. So when I was a freshman in high school, I came here to follow a boy, my little boyfriend. I came here to follow him on a field trip. And I got here, and forget the boyfriend. Have you looked at this view? It's still incredible. It still just like stops you in your tracks. And it was like my mom watching the guy ride by on the bike. Suddenly, what my siblings saw for me, I saw for myself, and my vision was so different. And I could come to college, and I was going to go to UCSB, and that's all I could talk about for 4 years, that I was going to go to college. And I hope that my kids have experienced some of that today. Their circumstances are a little bit different, but hopefully they see themselves in this experience. So I get back to high school. I have one sophomore teacher that tells me, you should take a college class at UCLA. I'm like, what? What's he talking about? He's like, you can do it. Just take a college class. This is what it costs. We'll figure it out. I don't even know how we paid for it, to be quite honest. We didn't have many resources. We paid for the class. I had to take 3 buses to go from Inglewood to UCLA, but I got a respectable like B+ in Psych 101. And again, it was like the guy in the bike. I thought, I can be a college student. They don't have anything on me. I can do this. I can really go to UCSB and do this. So that was sophomore year. Flash forward, I get into UCSB. And here I am. My mom drops me off. My family can't believe it. I'm coming for all 7 of us. Well, all 7 of us. I'll count my dad in that. I'm in college for my entire family. And it was something to really be proud of. Did I know it back then? No. Did I want to make them proud? Yes. My mom cried the whole way home. The whole way home, she had to leave her baby here. She couldn't believe it. She did like all the bikes outside, though. That was really cool. She really, really thought that was cool. I had like 3 of mine stolen. I just gave up on the bike thing. I would like drive in from IV, and I lived by DP. Drive in? Like, oh my God, it's not green at all. But I was just one of those. Anyway, it was really great to have been here at UCSB, and that was my journey. What's yours? What got you here? Who are you while you're here? Who are you now that you've left? For those of that are like me here participating as volunteers, what was it about UCSB that made you special? Because I know we're special. Gauchos just have it. We have it wherever we go. You don't come to a school like this and not have it. I challenge you today to think about what's your story. I'm going to talk a little bit more about my college days, but I want you to think about yours. What makes it special? And if you're a first-year student here, you get a leg up. You get to think about this intentionally over the next few years about who you will be at UCSB. And since we're all Greek and we're all in the Greek community, I know we're all leaders. I know we all know how to work hard, and I know we all know how to have fun, right? That would be us. I think you can agree with that. But everybody's journey is a little bit different. And so for me, I was first generation, as I said. I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me. I was so grateful to Sigma Alpha Zeta. They had only been on the campus one whole year. They made me feel welcome. They made me feel like it was a place that I could have a family away from home. Eventually, I became the president of the sorority. That's when I knew that I could talk from the stage, that I could lead, that I could own my space. It happened in my sorority. We all get that, don't we? We get that. And other kids don't get that. Other young adults don't get that. We get that here, so never take for granted that we get that opportunity because we're here. My academics were solid. I was a good student. That wasn't a problem for me. I loved getting the opportunity to travel. I studied abroad. I went to Barbados. Loved everything about my time at UCSB. Literally everything. I can't think of the lows, really. There weren't many. I got lucky, maybe, or I worked hard. Usually it's a combination of the both, right? So that was my journey at UCSB. Cakewalk. Loved it. But life isn't easy. Do you think something hard is coming for me? Does anybody think we're taking a turn? We're taking a turn. You can feel me right there. We're taking a turn. You got to pay the price somewhere. And mine was after UCSB. So I'm the perfect speaker for those of you that are still here because this is a cautionary tale. Because life after UCSB was not easy for me. Again, no one in my family had been to college. I'm expected to now be successful. I have a college degree. I'm supposed to get jobs. I'm supposed to be successful. I'm supposed to know how to do this. I did not know how to do anything the first couple of years in terms of where to go, who to ask for help, what to do. I made a bunch of bad decisions right out of college, to be honest. I had bad credit. I did all these big life decisions, meaning I got married, I had a baby, I bought a condo, all the things that people sort of spread out and do. For some reason, I thought I needed to do that between the ages of like 24 and 27. Bad idea, right? Really bad idea. Again, I didn't know that. I had to go through this experience and make very bad decisions. I changed careers. My husband changed careers. It was like the lowest of the low. And here I am trying to make my entire family proud of me. I was alienated from my sorority, from my family, because I felt like I wasn't making them proud. I was making a lot of mistakes post-UCSB because I was going just far too fast. I was checking off way too many boxes, way too fast. And do we sometimes have the pressure to check off a lot of boxes? Absolutely. There's a lot of pressure to do all the things that you think that are supposed to be done. My mom was a homeowner. I know it was important for her to see me as one. You know, it was important for me to be successful in my marriage, all these things. And why was I doing it for her? I should have been doing it for me, going far too fast. So I encourage all of you to take that nugget today. Slow down so that you can really go fast and go far. Slow down. I know that I did not do that, and I did not know that I was doing it wrong until it was too late. One of my lowest of my lows was when my car got repossessed. My car got repossessed. I'm just making these terrible mistakes. And I get on the bus. There's nothing wrong with the bus. But I sit in the bus with my 2-year-old, who's now 13. He doesn't know this story. That might make me cry. We were on the bus, buddy. And I sit in this bus, and I remembered who I was. I remembered who my mom was and who my mom is. And I remembered that I came to UCSB. I worked hard. I could lead. I could have fun. Why was I just on this trajectory down instead of a trajectory up? I got out the bus, guys, like the next stop. There's nothing wrong with the bus. It isn't about the bus. Public transportation is great. But I remembered who I was, and what am I doing? I'm going in reverse because I'm making decisions and I don't stop the bleeding and I'm going too fast. I get out the bus, I go to the first car dealership I see. I can't afford a car. Remember the bad credit I mentioned? Can't even buy a car. By chance, I met a man who said he would sell me a car in payments. Here I am, college educated, fancy degree, feeling good. Whatever, I'll take the car in payment. It was a stick shift, a 1999 Honda Civic. I don't know how to drive stick. Okay, I take a friend there who does know how to drive stick, but she drove her stick shift car. So if we do the math, that's two people, right? 2 cars that are stick shift, and only one of us knows how to drive home. So I figured it out. I remembered who I was. Figured it out. Got from point A to point B, and that little blue car meant everything to me because it was the beginning of a journey that was upward and onward. I drove that car to my interview at Operation Jumpstart, where I'm now the executive director. It was an entry-level post, and boy, did I need that job. Remember? Bad credit, broke, changing careers, can't afford my condo, bad, piled on. I'm sitting in this interview, guys, and the very respected executive director, she's been there 7 years, amazing woman, says to me, "Where will you be in 5 years? What's your plan?" And I said very confidently, "I will have your position and I'll be the executive director." Kind of, wow, I see some eyes, like, wow, okay. I had that vision. She wasn't insulted. It was delivered quite right. She got it, and that's the kind of person you want. They believe they can get there. Students, it's okay to take up space and believe in yourself with the right kind of confidence and humility. 5 years later, I was the executive director of that nonprofit. Worked my way up, took a bunch of different positions. It had to grow. 5 years now, I've been there 10 years, 5 years as the executive director. And if you know anything about nonprofits, it's sort of hard to keep your executive director. There's a lot of burnout, a lot of fundraising. Clearly, it's working out for me. But I had to go on this upward trajectory to become the CEO of Operation Jumpstart. I'm very proud of the work that we do at Operation Jumpstart. But I had to go through a lot of stuff. I had to ride that bus. I had to fail over and over again. I had to not make my family proud. I had to be misunderstood. I had to take my baby along, which is one of the things that I, of course, regret. He shouldn't have gone through that, but maybe that's what made us what we are today, and it's okay. So that's how I got the job. And now what I do for my day job is I help students just like me get to college. Isn't that incredible? Operation Jumpstart helps low-income, first-generation kids to and through college. We recruit them in the 8th grade, and we stay with them until they're college graduates. We're based in Long Beach, California, and a primary part of doing our job right is making sure they have tutors, that they have mentors, critical to why we were founded 25 years ago, and that they have counselors, social and emotional services. Anybody that's a child of an immigrant, first generation, yeah, we didn't know anything about that for the most part. We weren't getting therapy, right? We probably didn't have a tutor growing up. And we definitely didn't know what mentor meant. I know I didn't. What the heck was a mentor? I didn't know what a mentor was when I was growing up. So I love Operation Jumpstart. It reminds me every day of the value of this. This is my mission in action. You're all mentoring right now. You're all asking for something and receiving something. You're all getting help right now. The previous slide, we slowed down to go fast. That's the nugget. This slide, help, you're going to need it for the rest of your life. So students, keep showing up to events like these. Keep asking for help. Read the books. Make the contacts. Get the therapist. Get the tutor. And definitely find your mentor. Many mentors. It's okay to humble yourself and be vulnerable. Know your story. Clearly, I love telling mine. And make true connections that matter so that you can be successful and not make the mistakes along the way, or at least make less of them. So getting help is critically important to making connections. I already talked about getting those mentors. What today is all of that. Enjoy your table talks. Enjoy meeting people. Enjoy being vulnerable if you can for just a bit, right? If you want to connect truly, truly. What today isn't is you all worried about comparing yourself to the next person. That's not going to work. Because sometimes we don't have a struggle story. I shared my struggle story in that slide. I shared my mom's struggle story. You might be sitting here thinking, I don't have a struggle story. Haven't been through anything tough. I wasn't the first in my family to go to college. I can't relate. Sometimes your struggle story is here. It's here. You don't believe you're worthy. You're not saying the right things to yourself. You're set back by your own circumstances because it's here. And in order to get out of your head and in order to be truly successful, help, help, help. If I wouldn't have alienated myself from my family, from my sorority sisters, from mentors, I wouldn't have had to do all those things that I did in my mid-20s where I was just making mistake after mistake after mistake. But I didn't think this. I didn't come to an event like this. I didn't hear about how important it was for me to slow down, ask for help, and correct course. Sort of had to just jump out of the bus and figure it out and correct course. Students, do it today. Do what you need, because they've heard it from me. Those that are here volunteering today, they're happy to help. That's why we're here, right? Incredibly happy to help. Wonderful room of individuals. So that's what today isn't, and that's what today is. And I'd love to mentor anyone as well. So you'll have my contact information. Any questions, truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, I'd love to follow up after the event. All right, is this true or is this true? Are we going to be judged through our journey? 120%. Through anything, you're going to be judged, especially while you're doing it right. So let's get used to judgment, okay? Let's be okay with being judged. That's never going to be something that's going to go away. I was the youngest CEO in my organization. I was the youngest CEO in general in the nonprofit space in LA and Long Beach. I was the only Latina in the boardroom. They were mostly male board members. They did not grow up in Inglewood, California, as I did very proudly. It was tough at first. Came into my own. I had to figure it out. I had already made a lot of mistakes. I said, I'm going to try to do this different. I'm going to have mentors in leadership. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. I'm going to be a learner as a CEO. I surrounded myself by events like these so that I could learn to be the CEO that I needed to be. I had turned down the job twice. I didn't feel ready. Why? Because sometimes your struggle story is here and here, and you hold yourself back. None of that. You're going to be judged anyway. People will think you're not good enough anyway. People will think you're not writing the right thing or saying the right words anyway. Should you not get on the stage just because you're going to be judged anyway? Should you not tell the executive director that you would love their job one day? It's okay to be judged. We have to embrace it, even when we look different, even when we're too young, or we're too brown, too short, too tall, too whatever. Embrace it. Get the help that you need when it's hard to embrace it so that you can move past it, because that's a part of life. I decided to focus on growing, and that's what I did, but I had this nagging feeling of settling. I love my job. I'm still there. I love my job. But something was missing as the CEO. I did so much traveling in college that I knew it was that my job sort of held me back. And I wanted to take a breath, and I wanted to move forward, and I was going to be judged for that. I wanted to travel abroad. I wanted to go on a travel sabbatical. My mother's thinking, wait a minute, you already did this radical thing called college. You don't pick up, leave your job, travel with your babies. You need to own that house. You need to own that car. A travel sabbatical was crazy to my mother. She thought my husband and I were really losing our minds now. What did I do? I asked for help. I seek counsel. I took a lot of judgment. People would say, you can't just quit in the middle of your career. You've worked this hard. You can't just go on a different path. It doesn't work that way. You're the nonprofit CEO or the leader. You don't pick up and leave because you feel like traveling. There were so many judgments, thinking you can't just come back. You've built this career. Can you change your mind in this life? Can you take a longer path in this life? Can you take risks? Should we? We absolutely should. And so I decided to take that travel sabbatical. And I had only been the executive director for about 2.5, 3 years, and I talked to my board chair, very supportive man, who said, you're so good, you don't quit. You get to leave for a year. But you don't get to quit. So I had remembered who I was, and I was just being what I was at UCSB. I had worked hard, I was having fun, and I was leading. So truly, they didn't want to replace me. So all the judgments didn't matter. That was just fear. Everybody judging me and putting fear in me and telling me you cannot go on a travel sabbatical. You've gotten to the CEO journey. I can't go on this travel sabbatical. I just need to figure it out. I needed to make a lot of better financial decisions, and that we did. I drove that my husband and I drove that 1999 Honda Civic for years. the best little stick shift car ever. And I was judged because why does she drive that clunker? Because I'm about to go travel for an entire year. I'm going to pull my kids out of school. They're going to be world schooled across Latin America. We're going to visit 14 countries in the Caribbean and Central and South America and Mexico. Was it awesome? They did not know I was going to put them on the spot. So this is us in Argentina, Iguazu Falls. We went to Peru, Machu Picchu. We were on a cruise, went through Mexico. I'm Mexican, my husband's Guatemalan. The funny thing about judgment is that every country we went to said the next country was worse. Oh, the Mexicans were like, why would you go to Guatemala? The Guatemalans were like, why would you go to Nicaragua? The Nicaraguenses were like, why would you go to Colombia? I loved Colombia, by the way. Everyone's full of fear and judgment. And it's okay. Sometimes we don't know, right? We don't know that we're doing that. And sometimes we want to protect people. So we label and we judge and we lead by fear. That was an incredible journey for me. It was the birth of Level Up Latina, the company that I now run with 2 gauchos that are in Hermanas Unidas with me. At the time, they were in Hermanas Unidas as well. This incredible company is about giving women like me or any women the opportunity to see themselves in non-traditional roles, to travel and work if they want to be stay-at-home moms if they choose to become the CEO or not. I am coaching women that I wish I would have had like in front of me, available to me, answering my questions, pouring belief into me, telling me that judgment didn't matter. So traveling was the beginning of my entrepreneurial career. How incredible is that? So I thought this journey was going to take me away. It gave me more than I could have ever dreamed of. Because now I'm still the CEO of OJS. I got to come right back into my job. They worked it out while I was gone. Worked a little bit remotely. Imagine that. I'm in Chiapas working. I'm in Panama. I'm in Turks and Caicos. It was incredible. I'm back. I had that time with my children. They were world schooled. It was unforgettable. I'm back because of them, because I could travel forever and go and go and go. They happen to love their community in Redondo Beach and their school, and they want to be with their friends. But it was an important time in my life. I really wanted to do things differently. I really wanted to test the waters and not stay on that traditional route that when I was on, I was making a lot of mistakes. It didn't serve me when I was doing everything that was checking the boxes, getting the right job. My husband got the right job, buying the house, doing this, doing that, having the baby. It didn't serve me. So it wasn't for me. So I had to go the non-traditional route to do what served me. So I want to encourage all of you to design your life. You can change your mind. You can correct course. You can create a career out of your hobbies. It's okay. Will you be judged? Yes. Will you need help? Yes. Will it not come as fast as you'd like it to? Yes. And all of that is okay. Because I stand before you to say that I figured that all out the hard way, but it's exactly what happened for me. And I think if you ask for the help, and if you delay gratification and drive that little blue car, or if you're on the bus and that's okay, if you don't buy all the flashy stuff, if you don't try to do it for your parents, and you set a course of action that is smart and strategic, you can reach any goal. But there has to be some strategy and some smarts behind it. That's the only way you go slow to go fast and go far. You actually sit and really think about the decisions you're making and your mentors in your life and the people that have come before you, all of us here helping today, help you make smarter decisions. You're not alone at this. You're a gaucho, and we're really blessed. So do these 3 things, simple lessons. Keep them in mind every day, along with all the other things you have to think about. But for my journey, that was what mattered. Moving the needle forward so that I could be successful and now own the company that I do, remain as a nonprofit CEO, and travel a bit of the world. So this is really my final chapter. I'm winding down and wrapping up. This is how you can find me, as well as on LinkedIn. Again, these are my emails. I'm sure that we will publish this and send this around in other places. Find me on Instagram. Any help or support I would love to give. I'm a mentor because I practice what I preach. I say yes because I think it's the best place to come from. And I celebrate you and I congratulate you, gauchos. And I encourage you to be just as vulnerable as I've been as you continue throughout the rest of the day to make connections that count. Deal? Deal. Thank you, everybody.